I wanted you to speak a bit about where the inspiration came from to be an inventor, because you're an inventor. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, it's kind of off the ends of the spectrum, isn't it, really? It's quite unusual to go from a world of being a clinician into an inventor, but it came about, I think, because as the knowledge of how important lymphatic drainage is to detoxification, because again, if we're not opening those pathways, then of course we're not allowing the byproduct to move, we're just recycling pretty much. So if you're on a detox program and you're not thinking about your elimination processes and then the lymphatics, you're not able to literally move out the junk in the body. So, it started to get known a lot more. We were getting more and more people here in the US, and especially in your biohacking or your functional medicine or your biological medicine clinics, where they were seeing it was so important as part of their program. But one of the biggest challenges was getting practitioners. It's a very specialized area and field, and you need to know what you're doing, and you need to know how to direct the fluid, and it can be quite long, like a good hour and a half, to really be able to cover the whole body. So it was actually a gentleman called Dr. Jeff Drobot. He is now called the Biomed in Scottsdale, and him and I used to teach there a lot in his centre, and he sat me down one day and said, "Can't you just invent something for us?" And I remember sitting there looking at him going, "Serious? Like, I'm a therapist, I'm not a med-tech person." He goes, "Desiree, you know the relationship between lymphatics and parasympathetic. We have to bridge that gap. We have to make something whereby we can engage that parasympathetic response," so coming to your deep pressure in a minute, and then we can actually then encourage lymphatic drainage, because most of your fluid will go down overnight. And we now have this lymphatic system, which is in the brain, and they're saying we need at least 8 hours sleep to detox the brain. So sleep has become so paramount that so is engaging parasympathetic. And I'm seeing it all around the world. It's like we're all in this heightened state of what next after everything we've been through. And when you're in that state, it's like you're still staying in that sympathetic response. You're not actually going into that deep restorative recovery. So that's where the drive really came from. So I was running a really large clinic with actually another American. He was an acupuncturist in New Zealand. We had about 13 practitioners from everything from massage through to psychology. And we both were a bit burnt out by it. Like, it was hard work. It's kind of tough to run a big clinic like that. So we sort of decided that it was time for a change. So we closed that down, and then I kind of became like a mad scientist in a basement. That's the best way to describe it. I brought in tech all around the world. I wanted to see if there was already something that was working to save me creating. And the first prototype came out it was about 9 months later, and I actually brought it here to the States to 3 colleagues, one being Dr. Drobot, to be able to show them to see if I was on track. And it was very clunky, very embarrassing now, to be honest. If I had to show it to anyone, it hides in a cupboard to remind me of where I've come. But I still will never forget the day I was actually leaving the US, and I was in the customs in Los Angeles, and I got a video from one of the clinics sending me this woman who had been dealing with Lyme's for 26 years. Her life was just, she had very little energy. She didn't feel light. She was really struggling day to day. And it was a video of her crying, going, "I've never felt this good for so long," after one session. So here I am, bawling my eyes out in the middle of customs, going, "Oh my God, I think I've created something really good." And then I went away and came back to New Zealand, did a whole lot of research because I wanted to improve it. Very important that we get a sequential, movement of compression. It has to overlap so we don't have any fluid move backwards, right? We've got to get the momentum to move fluid up, literally upwards against gravity. So when I was doing that, we started to do a lot of heart rate variability studies. And I actually sent them to Dr. Drobot, and he goes, "You've done something wrong. There's no way you could be getting these results." And I said, "Well, not, but okay, I'll do them again," because we used a thing called Nerve Express. So I sent it back again, and he goes, "Oh wow, you really are changing people's heart rate variability from sympathetic to parasympathetic," which then this leads me into deep pressure therapy, because I had to kind of work out why. I know when we did manual drainage, like lymphatic drainage, someone, just like massage, they go into this peaceful state. But this was dropping them into even deeper. And I think it was as simple as being wrapped up, loved and hugged. So when we talk about the suit, so people understand it, and we just call it the suit because it's a loving expression of trying to explain pneumatic compression and heat, and, you know, so because it gets a little bit confusing. But if you just think about your feet are covered, your legs are covered, your abdomen's covered, your arms are covered, and there's even a back piece for those really tense shoulders so that we can get the thoracic pumping, which is what pulls the fluid from the abdomen up to the heart. And, you know, if you think about that happening, this beautiful squeezing, like it's just all sequential, it's moving up your body in a rhythm. So it's almost like you're rippling through the body. And so then we bring in the heat as well to help the body let go. Because we're learning more and more about fascia now, we're understanding it, that it plays just as pivotal role in your health, how it moves, so your connective tissue is what does the lymphatics, and those two are interlinked. So finding this, I had an incredible fascia teacher get in it the other day, and for the first time, and she had to be left alone for about 10 minutes afterwards to reintegrate what happened. And she said, you know, I have to use a really high specialist in fascia to give me an unwind like that, and your suit just did it in 40 minutes. And she was just blown away that we could actually achieve that.
Yeah. And I want to